Good day, everyone. I am Eliza Gregorio, and today we will explore the learner-centered psychological principles. And these principles focuses on learners, their needs, thoughts, and feelings. It helps to improve learning for everyone. And based on over a century of research, these principles guides teachers in making school more effective and fair for all students. These are the learner objectives. By the end of this report, learners are expected to understand that learning happens best when they actively build meaning from their experiences. Sets clear personal goals to guide their learning. Connect new knowledge to what they already know. Recognize how motivations and feelings impact their learning. And appreciate learning with others and respect different ways people learn. The learner-centered psychological principles were developed by the American Psychological Association, or APA, and the Mid-Continent Regional Educational Laboratory, or MACREL. These principles were published in 1993 and expanded in 1997, and they are based on extensive research in psychology, education, and human development. It helps to redesign schools focused on learners. So first, we will define cognitive and metacognitive factors. Cognitive factors involve how learners think and understand, and these include mental skills like paying attention, remembering information, solving problems, and connecting new knowledge with what they already know. Cognitive factors focuses on the actual process of learning and thinking, while metacognition means thinking about thinking, and this involves being aware of one's own learning process, planning how to learn, monitoring progress, checking understanding, and changing strategies if needed. And metacognition helps learners control and regulate how they learn to become more effective. So we have 6 cognitive and metacognitive factors. First, we have nature of learning process. So, in this, learning complex subjects best work when learners intentionally make meaning from information and experience. So, learners actively build understanding by thinking about new knowledge, practice, and their own ideas and beliefs. For example, learning to ride a bike by practicing balance and pedaling while thinking about how to stay steady. So this is important because active learning helps students deeply understand and remember what they learn. Number 2, we have the goals of the learning process. In this, successful learners set meaningful goals to guide their learning. Over time, these goals help learners to build coherent knowledge and develop learning strategies needed for ongoing success. Example, a student aims to learn basic addition first before moving on the more complex math. So it is important because goals provide clear directions and motivation to help learners progress effectively. So that is goals of the learning process. So number 3, we have the construction of knowledge. Successful learners connect new information with what they already know, and they build deeper understanding as they add to, change, or organize their knowledge in meaningful ways. So example, understanding how plants grow by linking previous knowledge about sunlight and water to how plants use them. So it is important because connecting new ideas with existing knowledge make learning stronger, easier to remember, and useful in new situations.
Good day everyone, I'm Ms. Naka Bangata, and today we will continue to discuss our topic in cognitive and metacognitive factor. We have 6 points, which is nature of learning process, goal of learning process, construction of knowledge, strategy thinking, thinking about thinking, and context of learning. The 1 to 3 is done by Ms. Gregorio, so let's move forward to the number 4. 4 is strategic thinking. A strategy successful learner can create and use repertoire of thinking and reasoning strategies to achieve complex learning goals. They understand their approach to learning, lesson about how to solve problem maths, and apply various strategy to successfully complete the task. They understand their own variability of strategy to help them succeed and be guided to use them in new situations. They learn to use strategy thinking by engaging in different tasks, reflecting on their progress, and adapting their methods as needed. So next, we have number 5, thinking about thinking. The next point is thinking about thinking, also known as metacognition. This involves a successful learner's ability to plan and monitor their own learning process. They can select appropriate method for a task, monitor their progress towards a goal, and check their own thinking. Metacognitive learner can reflect on how they think and learn, and they can adjust their strategy if they're not making progress. This kind of thinking helps learners take responsibility for their own learning and enhance their problem-solving skills. Last but not the least is number 6, which is context of learning. Finally, learning is influenced by environmental factors, including culture, technology, and individual practices. Learning doesn't happen in isolation. The learning environment, whether at home or in the classroom, is a major factor. Learning is enhanced by social interaction and collaborative work. Technology, when used appropriate, can be a powerful tool for learning. By understanding and learning these influences, we can create a more effective learning environment. In summary, a learner-centered approach emphasizes the importance of strategic thinking, metacognition, and the context in which learning takes place. So once again, I am Ms. Neka Bangate, and that's my report. Thank you and God bless.
Good day, everyone. Today I will discuss about the motivational and affective factors in the 14 learner-centered psychological principles made by the American Psychological Association. First, what is motivational and affective factors? This refers to how our motivation, feelings, and emotions affect the way we learn. It explains that learning is not only about the mind, but also about the heart. Motivation pushes us to keep going, while emotions can either help or block our learning. The researchers behind this are the American Psychological Association, who created these 14 principles to guide both teachers and students in improving the learning process. Now, let us focus on the 3 principles under this factor. First, motivational and emotional influences on learning. This means that our thoughts, beliefs, goals, and emotions can help or disturb our learning. For example, if we believe we can succeed, we are more focused and active in class. But if we always fear failure, it can affect the way we think and understand lessons. Second, intrinsic motivation to learn. This is the inner drive to learn because we are interested or enjoy the task. We are motivated when the lessons is new, challenging, or connected to our personal interests. For example, a student who loves music will enjoy activities where music is included, making them more eager to learn. Third, effects of motivation on effort. This principle shows that when we are motivated, we are willing to give more effort and energy. Learning complex lessons needs time, persistence, and hard work. If a student is motivated, they will continue studying even when it gets difficult. Now, why do we need to study this motivational and affective factor? Because they remind us that learning is not only about intelligence, but also about motivation, effort, and emotion. Teachers can use this to inspire to students, while students can use it to understand themselves better and build a stronger attitude towards learning. The purpose of this factor is to make learning more effective by recognizing that emotions and motivation plays a big role in success. So, in summary, motivational and affective factors tell us that when students are motivated, emotionally supported, and guided, they can achieve more and learn better. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. I'm the reporter 4 and I will be discuss the number 10 to 12 developmental influences, social influences, and individual differences in learning. Number 10, developmental influences on learning. As students grow, their physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development affects how they learn. Learning becomes more effective when teachers match lessons to the learner's developmental stage. For example, some may not yet be ready for reading but may excel in other areas. Factors like home, culture, and parental involvement also influence development. By understanding these differences, teachers can create better learning environments. Number 11. Social influences on learning. Learning is shaped by relationships and interactions. When learners work together, share ideas, and respect diversity, they build academic, social, even moral growth. Supportive relationships with family, teachers, and peers give students confidence, motivations, and sense of belonging. A positive classroom climate encourages active participation and reflective thinking. Number 12. Individual differences in learning. Every learner is unique with different talents, abilities, and learning preferences. Some may learn quickly, while others need more time. Teachers must recognize these differences and adapt their methods so that everyone has the chance to succeed. At the same time, students should also be guided to adjust and improve their own learning stages.
Good day everyone, so my name is Aldo Shorelli from Bachelor of Technology, Livelihood Education major in Home Economics program. So my assigned part is Learning and Diversity and Standards and Assessment. So first I'm going to read what is learning and diversity. So learning is the most effective when differences in learning, linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds are taken into account. So the same basic principles of learning, motivation, and effective instructions apply to all learners. However, language, ethnicity, race, beliefs, and socio-economic factors all can influence learning. Careful attention to these factors in the instructional settings enhances the possibilities for designing and implementing appropriate learning environments. So, when learners perceive that their individual differences in abilities, background, culture, and experiences are valued, respected, and accommodated in learning, tasks, and context, so levels of motivation and achievement are enhanced. So, learning is the most effective when teacher and school recognize the differences in learners' language, culture, and background. So each student is unique. Our abilities, experience, and even our traditions affect how we learn. So when these differences are valued and respected, students feel included and motivated. It creates a positive learning environment where everyone has the chance to succeed. So for example, if the family uses teaching strategies that consider different cultures or languages, students are more engaged because their identity and background are acknowledged. So in short, diversity is not a barrier. It can actually enrich learning if you use it the right way. So now let's move to the standards and assessments. So setting appropriate high and challenging standards and assessing the learner as well as learning processes. So including diagnostic processes and outcome assessment. So are integral parts of the learning processes. So assessment provides important information to both learner and the teacher at all stages of the learning processes. Effective learning takes place when learners feel challenged to work towards the appropriate high goals. Therefore, appraisal of the teacher's cognitive strengths and weakness as well as the current knowledge and skills is important for the selections of instructional materials upon optimal degree of difficulty. So learning became more meaningful when students are given high and challenging standards. If the goals are too easy, we don't grow, diba? But if the standards are high yet achievable, they push us to reach our full potential. So assessment is also a key part of learning. It is not only about giving grades or final exam. It's a good diagnostic processes and outcome assessment. So diagnostic shows that what we already know before starting. Processes checks our progress while learning. Outcome shows that we have learned after. Through assessment, teachers and learners both size the strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. This way, learning is not just about the results, but also about growth and continuous progress. So, that's all po. Thank you.
Learner-centered psychological principles focuses on creating respectful and motivating learning environment tailored to teach learners' need. They guide teachers to design lessons that challenge, supports, and inspire all students to succeed. These principles covers four main areas, which is number one is cognitive and metacognitive factors. This is how learners think, understand, plan, and manage their own thinking. Number two, motivational and affective factors. This is how emotions and motivation influence learning and effort. Number three, we have the developmental and social factors. This is how growth stages and social interactions affect learning. So number four is individual differences and factors. This means that respecting diverse learning styles, backgrounds, and abilities. Together, these principles provide a framework to help school redesign education to promote deep, active, and meaningful learning for all students.